Cameras are rolling. Just to let you know.
She threw away my settlement check. She really threw away a $10,000 check?
Yes.
Amy did?
Yes. Yes, she did.
These women, I see these women like that, always going like that in North Carolina. I go,
Take that. If you're going to sit like that,
yeah.
I mean, if you want to look at the paper, just turn the microphone just a little bit to your left. There you go. Here, I'll do it. Let me just go pick up your voice, fine.
Yeah.
I just want some more.
Okay.
Beautiful face.
Yeah.
And just fucking go with it.
Yeah.
You can be on this show. You can be as funny as you want. You can be as dumb as you want.
Okay.
But within the parameters, this show is based on people that are over 50. Okay.
Okay.
Or around 50. I do have some friends of that I met on the. None of that on the air either. I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was on the European trip, that listened to the show, so they have a good time. And all, of course, my friends all over the world. Are you ready?
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got one right here, right? Here we go.
Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
Well. How's everyone doing? Are you doing all right? Welcome to This is 50. We do this every Monday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town we like to call Marshville. This is my mental health show. I do this strictly for me and me alone. So through the process of doing the show for the last 4 years, I have reached out to people. People have reached out to me and say this show helps me a lot, or helps them a lot. They appreciate the comedic part of it. They're like, a lot of times they're like going, God, you are weird, and there's a lot of things going on in your head. Joining us here actually in the studio, we have a special guest. This is Broken Dan. Broken Dan, how are you?
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you, Travis?
Doing well. We've known each other for a very long time. You are retired.
I'd like to think so, yes.
And you are now somewhat of a musical. You get the music bug has bitten you, and so now you're an artist and you're writing music and all that.
Yes, I've written over 180 songs since last February. I write the lyrics and generate the music, and so I'm just do the songwriting.
All right, before we get into Dan's story, I wanted to tell you something that I came across an article of an old friend of mine. Not Dan. Dan's an old friend of mine. We just recently connected. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Dan and I have recently connected. And I said, I wonder whatever happened to this gentleman. And this gentleman that I came across, or many years ago, in my early 20s, was a preacher. He was a preacher. And the way our paths crossed, you would think, when you hear stories about the Roman Catholic Church and the whole entire, Catholicism and, preachers are touching kids and stuff. And, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. I believe it's true. I have firsthand knowledge of this going on in what do they call it? The church, the Roman Catholic, what's their congregation.
Yeah.
So I said, I wonder whatever happened to this guy that reached out to me, and the way he reached out to me, not in that way, Dan. Sorry,
I was getting awful thoughts in my head.
I was not in his congregation, but I have a story that I want to tell you about this gentleman, this preacher who is now turned to be a bishop. He was a bishop in the hierarchy and stuff.
So he only moves diagonally?
Yes. You know how they do it over there. They're a little freaky over there.
Yeah.
But before I get into, and that's your teaser, by the way, and I'll tell you his story and what happened and how I got scared at one point. talking to this gentleman about just everyday activities, and that's her teaser as far as that goes. But I want to talk about Dan. Dan has joined us here in the studio. Dan and I have known each other for a while. There was some turmoil in our relationship. And Dan, can you agree to that?
Yeah, we stepped away from each other. And
the reason why we stepped away is because at the time, Dan was the only provider in the house. He had his wife. Now, if I'm overstepping my boundaries, please, by all means, just say, hey, Travis, I don't want to talk about that, or just give me this. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, just say, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
I know that Dan has a wife or had a wife. She has recently passed away. And when I say recently, when did Kathy pass away?
August 6th of 2024. So it'll be 2 years in August.
And the reason why we've connected is because I don't want to say that Kathy, she didn't like me. You can just be honest.
Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. You know that.
Kathy did not like me at all. Am I correct by saying that?
Well, that was part of it, but it also...
what didn't she like about me?
Because you're full of yourself, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, honestly, you can tell me.
And she didn't... She's very funny. She likes very few of my friends. And sometimes I look at her and go, why does she like this person and not like this person? But I'd say she probably liked 20% of my friends. She did, And that's just the way she was.
Dan, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Why did Kathy not like me? Because I am full of myself?
Yeah, that may be a little part of it, but another reason was just because I was exhausted. I wasn't getting any sleep at all, and just getting up and getting through the day, I was exhausted, and I found out that I had sleep apnea. So that's one of the problems I was having too at that time.
Did she blame me for that?
No, she didn't blame you for it. So,
But she's unfortunately passed away. And now, Dan, for the last 2 years, because you're still living in the house, basically the house that Kathy built.
Yes.
And we were talking before we went on the air about all the stuff that's going on. And I'm like, that's the dish that Kathy made or bought. And that's the chair that Kathy, and this is the house that Kathy designed and all that.
Oh, she found the floor plans for the house. We had it built, and I did the second floor. I did the workshop. I was the carpenter and the builder. She was the one who made the house into a home. She decorated it so beautifully. She would go to consignment shops, Goodwill, Salvation Army, and she'd get the most beautiful deals on things. And she decorated her house elaborately. And I don't want to get rid of any of that stuff. It's a double-edged sword because I walk in and I'll look at all these beautiful things, and she's not here anymore. So it's hard.
And you're still dealing with that today, as far as 2 years ago.
Yes, it's better than it was 2 years ago, but it's still hard. So
now, did she have any family or anything? Now, the two of you did not have any children, correct?
No.
Now, does her family? Are you guys still together?
Yeah, not as much. I have there's probably like out of 8 people in a family, I'm only contact 2 of them. They just don't. It's funny. They just don't. She's not there. They don't talk much. They don't return calls or things. And
return calls to you.
Yeah, and they're all busy too. They're all working crappy jobs and things.
Now, what about you? Do you have a support system outside of your family?
Not. I have friends in my neighborhood. We have we're a gated community, and I have a lot of people there that were there for me and helped me a lot. So that's a huge blessing. So
now, you say blessing.
Yeah.
You said you at the start of the morning or getting over everything, you went to church, and that kind of ties into this whole situation that I went through. As far as not I went through the whole the tease at the beginning of the show when I was talking about this gentleman, this preacher, the pastor that reached out to me and our relationship that we had. So, what was your feeling about church? Did you feel that was doing well or doing good for you, or is that a good alternative as far as like turning to a bottle? Now, Dan, you don't drink or anything like that.
I don't drink. I drive everyone else to drink. I don't. I've been going to church, and sometimes I don't know if that's the total answer, what it's going to be, and sometimes the answer is that there is no answer. You're just going to have to deal with. We were married for 50 years, and We built 4 houses, and we had all these dreams together. Now I'm living in a house that was our dream, and it's me walking around in the house. And I do have neighbors that are good to help me out. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about. We have Broken Dan, which is hard for me to say because I know him for many years. If you've been listening to any of the podcasts that I've been doing, he was my IT person at one time here on one of the podcasts that we're doing. So his Broken Dan is now his new name, as far as he's an artist, musical artist, writing lyrics and doing all the stuff on YouTube and stuff. And we'll play some of his music during the break. So stick around. When we come back, I bought a new chair, and I want Dan's opinion on my new chair. So stick around. I'll be right back.
This is Broken Dan's Blues Band.
There you go. What?
Can you play the song?
No. I'm gonna write down what songs you want me to play because I added all this stuff back. Do you want a pen too, Dan?
Well, I can't write with this hand. Have to use the other one. No, I just can't remember the name of it.
Felt like I was crushed.
I'm only kidding. I'm left.
I'm gonna move that microphone.
By a Coke machine.
What song do you want?
Brush me off like dust.
This man smoked.
Damn, she was me.
That's the one that's under.
She didn't even try to explain.
Smoke to his heartbreak. It'll be the latest
Flush
song.
me down the drain.
Found a real good female version.
This breakup hit
Have
hard.
them switch places and bass
My
players.
stuff thrown in the yard.
Stuff you can tell me already.
All that love was in vain. Now it's starting to
And a
rain.
lot of things with Kathy, it wasn't.
Put my possessions in my
She
car.
wasn't feeling good and needed me.
Things are just what they are.
She'd been in bad
I'm going, I don't know where. I'll find out when I get there.
You ready?
I felt so rejected and small.
Are you excited?
I never suspected that call.
Are you excited, Dan?
Felt like
You seem
I
excited.
was crushed by a Coke
wrong?
machine.
You okay?
Yeah.
She brushed me off like dust. Damn, she was me.
That's too hard.
It gets warm real fast. So Dan was telling me during the break he was getting hot in here. It's what happens when you get older, Dan. So you saw my new bathroom.
Yeah,
I've been
that came out excellent.
I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks and stuff. Did you like it? Do you approve of it?
Yeah.
Is it your style?
Well, I like my style probably be smaller squares, but I looked at the craftsmanship. That guy did a good job. That was professional.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when it's not someone's first rodeo. When they've done it, it's nice and it's usable. I like the way it
Very functioning.
came out very well. Yeah.
And what'd you think about like the stuff on the wall that Amy and I did? Did that look good?
If you had continued all the way to the ceiling. No, it was wainscoting. Yeah, you did a good job on that. And I like the flat wood for a change rather than the regular molding. I think it accented that room good.
Well,
So.
as you walk around the house, we have that 3-inch molding around the whole entire house. We don't have the crown molding and the beveled edges and all that stuff. We don't have all that around the house. So it matches the house, just its weight. There you go.
Yeah, no, it came out good. I was happy with it.
So-
And nice vanity, nice big double vanity.
Yeah, that thing's like 500, 600 pounds. So in the process of doing the whole bathroom remodel, I have in the bedroom, I have a nice, beautiful leather chair. Did you happen to see the leather chair?
I saw the leather chair.
The
Recliner.
burgundy leather chair, and it's got all the studs around the armrest. I mean, it's a good quality leather chair, and I use that to sit there next to the bed, whether to get readier or watch TV. And my wife just did not like it at all. She's like going, I want to get rid of that chair. I hate that chair. It's disgusting and all that.
It looked like something I see on the side of the road.
No.
People drop off.
No.
It wasn't a pretty chair.
What do you mean it's not a pretty chair? It's a high quality chair. You got to give it that.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, no?
Yeah, but it looks like dumpster material.
Does it really, Dan?
Yeah, the new one I like, but that one.
So
the old one, yeah.
So the new one, you want a new chair? Take home with you. So the new chair that I got, I said, all right, babe, all right, get me one of those TikTok chairs where it's the foam and it's got the, the foam armrest and the back support and all that stuff. I said, find me one and we'll buy it. And then if I like it, we'll put it in the room. So I bought it, and it's you would think those foam chairs are real kind of squishy. You're like, how firm can it actually be when it comes in a box? A third, if not a fifth of the size of the chair once it blows up. So we took it out of the box, took it out of the wrapper and everything, and let it just inflate itself. And Dan, you sat on it.
It's a firm chair. I was comfortable with it. And the way they expand, I got one of those purple mattresses. Mm-hmm. One guy carried it up over his shoulder, carried it up the stairs, and then when he cut the with a special knife he used, cut it open, and the thing expanded to a big king-size bed. And you can barely lift it up now. It's weird. So.
Yeah, it's freaking heavy. So we were talking about during the break about Kathy, and what were you saying about as far as?
Well, I mean, I don't think it was as much. Part of it was a little bit she wasn't crazy about you, but she was having health.
Oh, the
issues.
reason why she didn't like me.
Yeah, and she was having health issues. A lot of problems with her lungs and her heart issues, and she did pass away from a heart attack. But there was a lot of times I just needed to be there for her, and be there and just be around for her because she wasn't feeling well. So
you because you used to come over here all the time.
Yeah.
There was a couple shows that you were on. We used to do Is This Going Somewhere for a while. You were on the Deacon Live show for a while, and you did it from home and did it here from the studio for several years. And I hate to say it, we physically lost touch, like not talking to each other for like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah, 2-3 years maybe.
And is it you that reached out to me? Because God knows I'm too full of myself. I wasn't going to reach out to you. I was like going, Dan hated me. Dan hated all this stuff that was going on, and
I go through different things in my life, and I sit there and look at all the things I have, and then I still look at things and go, why does my life suck?
What do you mean? Why does your life suck?
I don't know. I think about that. I got a big hole. It's missing. 50 years we were together, and it's you can't fill that with all the things you're doing. You just can't do it.
And I asked you, Dan, why don't you sell the house, and sell everything that's in there and enjoy life now. I don't want to see, because you're 72 years old. Yeah. And to get out there and enjoy life and enjoy what you might have missed over the last several years of taking care of Kathy, and things like that. For example, my dad, my mom passed away 4 years ago, and he doesn't want to go out. He just wants to sit in his room and sit in our room, at our house here because he moved in. And I just feel bad only because he can't move. He can't walk and stuff. Dan, you're fully capable of walking outside of your broken hand, your broken arm there that you...
Dan's broken arm. Yeah.
And you want to explain how that happened? And you can see this over on our YouTube channel as well. Dan, what happened to your arm?
I fell off a 24-foot ladder. I was on the bottom rung. No, what really happened, I slipped on a wet floor at a restaurant. And as far as the house goes, we spent 16 years at that house together. I have so many memories in that house, and I don't want to leave. That's my last contact with her is that house, and I don't want to ever leave that.
So how are you doing today? I know I want to get into your music a little bit more, so I don't want to rehash the whole Kathy thing and everything. So how are you doing today? What are you finding that helps you get through this? And I'm sure the music is, because I want to dive into your music as well. What are you finding outside of your music that's helping you? I know you got a strong community base. You got one of those gated communities that has iron guards at the front gate that nobody can get in there.
All you got to do is say you have an order for DoorDash and they'll let you through. So it's not that, gated. So, but I have neighbors that I'm taking care of. I have an elderly woman that's 91 years old, and she's fantastic. And I help her, and we go out for lunch, and she'll come over to the house and watch movies. And she
comes over to your house and watches movies?
Yeah, and she's 91 years old, and she walks up 7 steps up, and gets up into the house And
Is she invited over your house to watch the movies?
yeah, she loves it. She'll come over. And
Do you have like movie? All right. What's her name?
Her name is Sally.
Sally. All right, Sally. What movies are we want to watch? There's a movie that I want to watch with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. I want to watch that movie. Can we watch that? Do you have a set time schedule to watch movies with her?
No,
like every day, every Wednesday at like 3:00 after I do lunch and I take a nap. Sally comes over.
We have Friday nights movies with our friends Karen and Mary.
Now hold on. What is Friday night? What time is that for you older people?
6 o'clock movie.
Okay.
6 o'clock movie. Yeah. Sally will just say, "Hey, you want to come over and watch a movie tonight?" And she'll come over, and we usually only do that on days that end in Y. She ends up over the house 4 or 5 days watching movies.
So that's your movie date at night?
Yeah, we'll come over and I'll make a supper together, and then we'll make chicken wings or something, and we'll make a small dinner, and then we sat down. And my friend John's staying with me. He's trying to help him out too. He's going through some issues with dementia. So, we have a little dog, Marley, and Marley is a rescue dog, and she's gone blind, and she's bumping into things all the time.
Is this Marley from back in the day that had 3 legs, or no?
No, that was Spike. That was my neighbor's dog, Spike. So, but Marley's a little 11-pound, really cute dog, but she's just gone blind in the last month.
So now you've opened your house up to the neighborhood, and everyone's coming over to hang out with Dan.
Yes.
And it's like a museum walking around your house and in there, and outside of the people that are actually in them that are antiques.
Well, then the living room is still set up like a living room. Got a couple recliners, a few chairs, but I got an 86-inch TV, and I get the surround sound, which that enhances anything you're watching. That makes it so much better.
One thing I found out when my dad first moved in with us, I said, Dad, I kind of did the same thing with my dad. Hey, Dad, come over to because we have a 103 in the front TV there. And I said, Dad, let's watch some movies together. And the problem with my dad was we had to put closed captioning on. Because he couldn't hear, even with the surround sound. We had the I forget the Aquos. Not the Aquos. What's the LG?
Sonos?
The Sonos. I don't know. It's an LG and it's got all the bells and whistles on it, 7-point speakers or whatever. And he couldn't hear what the people were saying. Now, I agree that the movies have changed the way they record movies, like the dialogue and everything, like the sound effects and everything are really, really loud, and everyone talks like this in the scenes and stuff. And my dad's like going, I can't hear what he's saying. Can you put the closed captioning on? And unfortunately, the closed captioning takes up the lower third, because one, he can't fucking see, so you got to make the closed captioning as big as possible, and you lose half of the movie. You lose the lower third of the movie when you're watching it.
Yeah, we got the closed captioning on. But
Do you really?
But it's not a big picture, and if you don't, you can either watch it or ignore it. You know what I mean? With an 86-inch screen, you miss most of it, and I got a big 12-inch subwoofer and speakers in the wall. And if we're watching the movie right, you go into the kitchen and there's a hutch on the other side of the wall, and the glasses are tingling, and you can hear them shaking around in the other room, which means you're doing it right.
So what kind of are you watching? Like Star Wars movies? And was it Grogu or whatever, the Mandalorian and
stuff? We did watch all those ones.
Did you really?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Can they follow those storylines? I mean, they're 91 years old.
Yeah, she
probably looks at it like a documentary. This is really happening.
No, we watched The Matrix the other night, and I told her we're going to watch a romantic movie, and I got True Romance with Christian Slater, and there's about 40 people get killed in that. So, but she's getting used to the gunshots and the bullets. And
Can she see the screen? I guess with an 86-inch screen, you got to.
She's got better eyesight than I do.
Sits right up front and cranks her neck up.
No, she's good, and she and the neighbors come over, and every once in a while there'll be a movie that scares the woman comes over with a 45-year-old daughter, and she'll get scared shitless watching a movie. So.
Who, the daughter? Or
the daughter does. Yeah.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup. All right, when we come back, I want to dive into Dan's song and his music writing capability. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Mistaken.
I'm doing
I had these doubts all along, but but no courage to face them. I thought I was wrong for suspecting my woman. Was there something going on? What could she be doing? I was sure that I know about if my woman was stepping out. I was paralyzed and scared stiff. I'd stay awake thinking and wondering if she has a man on the side. I didn't think that she'd lie. I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. I had these doubts all along, but no courage to face them. 10 years I treated her like a wife. I trusted that woman with my life. It started with some late night calls. Something changed within these walls. Her kisses started losing their passion. I wasn't getting any late night action.
Downloader. Capture 'em.
These things were right before my eyes. I convinced myself everything was alright. I thought I was
This is for break 2.
wrong, but I was mistaken. I had these doubts all along, but no courage to face them. Bless my heart, bless my soul. Sometimes it's better when you don't know.
So my wife freaked out the other day, Dan.
Listen, we on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
I can't blame her for freaking out.
Well, so here on our property, on our 22 some odd acres, we have horses and all that stuff, animals. Our back pasture butts up against someone else's property back there, and they don't take care of the backside of their property. It's wild. And what's happened is I have to go back there with Roundup because all the plants and stuff grow into the electric fence.
And it's shorting it out.
It grounds it out. It doesn't have the impulse that it normally would have. And I came back in, and there's briars and all these different plants and stuff. And like 2 days later, I saw this thing on my arm. Let's see if I can hold up to the camera here. This camera, I can't. It's on the back side of my arm. Anyways, it goes right down from my wrist. Dan, you can see it, right?
I can see it.
It was longer. It would go from my wrist.
It looks like a nasty scrape or something.
And it goes right up to the crease, my inner elbow. And my wife goes, "Oh my God, you're gonna die.
You're gonna get infected. You're gonna die. It's gonna be the end of the world. They're gonna amputate your arm.
I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be laying in the field somewhere."
That's her job to freak out like that. That's
And
what they do.
and there's bubbles on it. Like there's like if you get like a burn or something, there's like
a rash, yeah.
there's blisters on it.
Yeah.
And the reason why of that is because when I was on a cruise, we went on a cruise to Alaska. And you can listen to this past podcast when I was on a cruise to Alaska, where I had a cat that scratched me right here in the web of my thumb and my finger. Yeah. And we were in, excuse me, and it got infected. And that infection, I saw a red line, almost like a Like when kids are trying to raise money, that red line on the thermometer keeps going up, and the red line was going up my arm. And it was getting to here. My wife goes, all right, you need to go down to the infirmary and get that fixed.
How far does the line go up there?
It goes from about 2 inches up my wrist to, I don't know, it's not that long now. I mean, this is 2 weeks now. She's like, oh, you need to go see a doctor. You need to go see a doctor. I'm like, no, it itches and it's hot. So I don't want to pop the blisters because the blisters is going to spread whatever.
I put bag bulb on it. It comes in. It's for cows' udders. You can find it at Walgreens has it, Walmart, Amazon. It's a square thing and it's a gel. Anything like that I put on and it heals 10 times as fast.
Well, I was doing
no scars.
I was doing like Neosporin.
Yeah.
And it's still a little itchy. And then I asked my dad, because I was getting ready to go grocery shopping. It was Friday, and I do the whole grocery trip on Friday. And I go, Dad, do you have calamine lotion or something like that? And he's like, I got everything. You know, he's 80 years old. He's got everything.
It's been outdated 40 years ago. Yeah.
So he brings it to me, and I put it on a napkin, and I rub it on my hand. And it's good, but I don't know if you can see it. There it is right there. There's a good shot of it.
Yeah.
Right there on my forearm. Dude, I'm totally ripped. But so my wife was freaking out, and I'm like, oh no, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
So did you live?
I'm working on it. I'm trying to live. Now you're living.
Yeah.
You're doing things your way. I don't want to say for now, but I mean, you're trying to get through this process of, losing a loved one over 50 years. And one of the things that you're doing and the music that you're hearing during the breaks and stuff is Dan's music. Now, is this a passion that you've been doing, or you're like, I've always wanted to be a rock star type thing?
Oh, I mean, I've always lived. We always have dreams of being a rock star and things, but no, I've listened to music forever since the Beatles. I just was actually sitting there, and I was in church, and there was this awful hymn, and I told somebody, I said, I could write something better than that. And I said, no, I will do that. And I went home and got on Microsoft Word, and I wrote a hymn in about 15 minutes and didn't think any, and I printed it out and brought it to show a few friends, and they go, that's pretty good. And I was reading it a little while later about you can take your lyrics and put it to music.
The Apostle Broken Dan.
Yes. So I took, and I was reading up on it, and I found a program online that I can use, and I could put my words into it and create my own music. It's not easy, but you can poke around with it, make some adjustments, and I come up with a nice hymn, and then it just took off from there, and I've written 180 songs since then.
So you've written 180 songs, but the first song you wrote was a hymn, like for church?
Yeah.
Like, did you go up to like the pastor and go, hey, Pastor Jeff Reese, would you want to try this next week?
Pastor Michael, it was the light of the Lord. So, and that was my first song that I ever wrote. So.
And I make fun of you, Dan, because of that. But I have an aunt that our local church, growing up, had a congregation of like 62 people. She wrote a hymn, and we would sing it like our church knew that song. That was my aunt's song, Aunt Shirley. You guys heard me talking about her before. And they would paste them. They pasted the lyrics inside the hymnal books. All right, we're going to sing How Great Thou Art, or whatever. She didn't write How Great Thou Art was, but she wrote whatever and posted that inside the hymnal books. And we all learned it and sang it and followed the cult in the same sense.
Yeah, and I have no singing ability or music ability, but these words come into my head, and I sometimes write a song and I go, where did that come from? And sometimes it will write in 20 minutes. I wrote one song. It's called It's Not Always Rain. I was driving to the airport, and the song started coming into my head while I'm driving. I pulled over to get breakfast, and I got out my phone, and I just emailed all those lyrics to myself. And I'm driving down 85 down the highway, and the best part of the songs came to me while I'm driving down the road.
Now, you're writing just the lyrics.
Yes.
But you're taking advantage. At 72 years old, you're taking advantage of what's available to you now.
Yes, the technology is fantastic.
And when you're saying that, you're saying AI.
Yes.
You're using AI to do all this stuff.
Yes.
you know, a lot of people out there have a hard time accepting, even younger people. I mean, you know, I'm 53 years old, and I use ChatGPT for everything. I use AI for everything that when I'm designing. You, Dan, we were here for an hour looking over all my website stuff, and you were looking over it, and you were like going, you know, that looks good, that looks good. I would agree with that. But to code and do all that stuff, you know how much money I would have to pay someone to do what I was doing on those websites? Yeah. And I've got ChatGPT helping me with that. And the younger generation is like, well, you're not really an artist. You're not really an artist. You're not creating the music. You're not creating, you know, you're creating the lyrics, yes, by all means, but you're not creating the voice. You're not creating are you creating the measures? Like this is chorus 1, this is chorus 2. I want the refrain to repeat 2 or 3 times.
Yes, I'll put that all in. I put all those things, but my rule is the music has to be 100% mine. I feel guilty when I have to go look in Webster's dictionary just to find a word that rhymes with, you know, with ring or something. I just
buttercup.
Yeah, and I'll do that, and I feel guilty having a leak, but that's the most I use a computer for, is to look up a word that rhymes. But sometimes it just flows in my head, and sometimes I can't even explain how I do it. I can write an entire song in my head, and then come down and put it all on paper. So I never just open up the word processor and start typing something. It's always in there, you know.
Now, have you ever, like as a child growing up, did you ever write down like poetry or anything like that growing up, or a journal or anything? You know, did you write haikus?
No,
you know,
I did write some poems when I was younger, and I had a few of them published. You know, and I think I got $45 for all 3 of them. So
was that a Reader's Digest or something like that?
It was a Green Mountain Trading Post in Vermont.
Oh, there you go.
So it's new to me that I'm doing this, but what's fantastic is I can have an idea in my head, start writing it down, and you know the next day I'm listening to it in my car, which is fantastic. You know,
so you're writing the music that you want to listen to.
Yes,
essentially. And I've heard of people that, you know, they're talking about the AI and the AI evolution. Yeah. People are like going, well, I want Seinfeld to come back. And they're not going to reboot Seinfeld. Yeah. But a lot of people can go in there and say, okay, I want an episode of Seinfeld where Elaine talks about this and George talks about this. I think that'd be great. And a lot of people, AI is not there yet. But if they can write their own, you know, sitcoms and write their own movie scripts. You know, I want another Spider-Man where Spider-Man defeats Batman and all that stuff. We're not there yet, but we're almost to the point where you can write a script like that.
Well, I think ChatGPT might be able to do that for somebody. And, you know, my whole thing is everything's got to be originally my idea, my words. Then I will go, you know, and once I'll get the music, and sometimes I'll listen to a song and I'll play it 8 times. Oh, I don't like it. Let me try this. Let me try that. And you know when it sounds like what the idea you had in your head when you wrote it, and then it's good. And then I've been using AI to make my videos lately. So.
And that the video production on that, Dan, you were saying that you spent like 10 hours to get the video, like a 10-second video, or just to blend several.
I would take the 10-second videos and put them together, and sometimes it can take 8 hours on a song. But I have realized that I got more things to do in my life, and I gotta find a shorter way. It's not going to come out as great as I'd want it, but I've got to. The last video took me about 4 hours to do it. So.
Now, how are your friends and your community responding to you being a musical artist now?
Well, they listen to them and stuff. They don't call me Your Highness or anything, or ask for autographs or anything. But we got a lot of people that, you know, I'll send them a link to a new song, and they most of it's been positive. So.
Yeah, and I was telling you, like during the break, you know, you have Diana Ross and all these other. A typical one is, what is it? Not Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift writes, for the most part, all her own songs. But there are, Beyonce. Here's a prime example. Beyonce and like Rihanna have like 4 or 5 different people that are writing their songs. And then there's producers and everyone that goes behind it, you know, and they make the bounces and the beats and all that. You've written 100 and how many songs?
Over 180.
180 songs, and I've listened to those lyrics. Not the music, but I'm watching the lyrics and I'm reading the lyrics, and some of the lyrics that you're putting together, I'm like, that could be easily a country song. It's got a great hook. It's got a great meaning. It's got great depth behind it. And I'm like going, you were born at the wrong time, Dan, you know?
Yeah, and I just, it would be really great if someone
You were born at the wrong time.
Yes. No, I was born at the right time because I had a great childhood. We didn't have a television in our house. We'd sit on the floor and play with Legos, or we'd play with Lincoln Logs, or we'd go outside and play baseball, football, or hockey, and it was a great time. We didn't have any music on in our house. We never had music on. We never had TV on. It was great.
One of the things I've been doing is my wife bought me at Christmas time one of those big R2D2 Lego sets, the Star Wars Lego sets, and I think it was like $100 and something for it, and I resisted putting it together, and for the last 3-4 days, not in a row, but for 3 or 4 days, I've spent 2 or 3 hours just sitting there, no phone, no nothing, in the dining room while my wife's in the laundry room folding, the laundry and stuff, and I'm putting like the Legos together. It's so relaxing because you read the book, you put the Legos together, you read the books, and you put the Legos together. It's kind of like, it's therapy. It's kind of like what you're doing with your music as far as, this is therapy. I sit down and I write these lyrics and things.
When it says 10 to 12 years on the box, that's how long it should take to build it.
Right,
so.
Exactly. All right, when we come back.
Quick question.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead, Dan.
Are you going to plan on using those blocks and make your own Lego movie?
Why would I do that? How would I do that?
Well, you take the Lego and you could animate it with your cameras and make the R2D2 move around and make a movie.
Do you know exactly how they made the first Lego movie? Do you know how they did that?
I'm going to learn.
They used the actual computer program that they used to create the kits for the actual Lego sets. So let's say they wanted to make the R2D2. They have a program that picks out all the blocks through all the inventory and stacks it together and gives you the list of list of all the parts and stuff and how long it's going to take and stuff. They use that exact same program with animation to create that whole entire Lego movie.
Yeah, they're pretty cool movies.
Yes, they are. All right, when we come back, we're going to dive a little bit more into Dan and why do I have sores in my mouth when I'm dehydrated. So stick around. I'll be right back. What song you want next?
Justified.
For years I've
Justified
tried
came about. I just finished rewatching all
love
6
my bride.
seasons of Justified, and I was thinking of an idea
She looked me in the
that I could make the
eyes
next song about, and I just had to.
and told me lie
I was
after
thinking I said, I'll write a
lie.
song about Justified, and I go to bed.
After the knot
I've
was
had a
tied,
couple times, I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I saw what was inside.
It's all gibberish when I send it. A couple times I've done that. Up in that
In my bed with my friend.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, Kathy, or the music, or can we
didn't
just go
try
on with the
to
rest of the
hide.
show regularly?
Go on to the rest of the show.
And so that was the
We'll do a segment of 2 things
Then
I
I
want to talk
took
about.
her out
I
for
did
a
the
ride.
putting the Legos together.
Back to her
I'm
mama's
dealing
place.
with a buyer and
left her
so we'll come back and get
standing
into my mouth. I'm dealing with an annoying buyer.
I told her goodbye. Didn't look her in the eyes.
I'll grab a water.
Wished
You
her
gonna go back
mama
into it?
luck
You do it all together? You want to hold hands?
and got into my truck. Was I justified? A man has his pride. Was I justified? You're damn right. Would I do it again? I think I just might. Oh, when a mama called, I said it's not my fault.
won't feel like I'm boring you or anything, but I'm not the dancing clown.
his pride. Was I justified? You're damn right.
And we're going to talk
Would I
about
do it again?
not a compilation, but I want to talk about being a buyer or being an artist and buying airtime. On my other show, I had a hard time with them. So,
Some guys at
and
work
then the last section will be about Rudolph Cleare.
think I'm a jerk. Others think I'm a hero.
No, that's the
But what do they know? Was what I did right.
What are you, professional broadcaster now, dude?
Yes, and I sleep good at night.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, I gotta turn this off. Before Dan yells at me. Dan's
I'm too cold.
haven't seen Dan in however many years, and he's like, "Oh, and don't forget to turn the AC off and make sure you have the volume up and all this other stuff."
Yeah.
I'm like, Dan, I'm fine. I'm good. And I appreciate Dan driving all the way from. Where'd you drive all the way from? Like 2 hours away?
Mount Gilead.
How long did it take to get to the hacienda here?
About 50 minutes.
No, that's not too bad. I drive 50 minutes just to get to Walmart to pick up groceries and stuff. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes to Walmart from my house, but a different Walmart.
All right. Well, you live in a highly infested area.
It's in congested.
That's what I meant.
Actually, we're in the middle of nowhere too, but we're just closer to nowhere than you are.
So I'm still running, Dan.
Yeah.
And by the way, thanks for noticing my weight loss.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm still running 4 miles.
Yeah, I think you've beaten anorexia.
Well, we haven't seen each other in a while, and I've gotten up to, at one point I was at 310, and now I'm down. Believe it or not, I'm down to 265, 260, 265, depending. We went out to dinner last night, so I had bad stuff. But I'm doing well. All my numbers are good. The only thing I'm working on, and I've been taking my blood pressure at night, like around 8 o'clock, and my blood pressure's been good. So I'm trying to get off the blood pressure medicine. Are you on blood pressure medicine, Dan?
No, I'm on medicine for my diabetes, but it's treatable. So
Okay, so how do you get off that medicine?
by eating healthier and exercising more.
But you don't like that. You don't like
Well,
doing that.
I probably eat healthy 80% of the time. It's the other 20% you work on.
The exercise?
I don't do it enough. Usually, I like to try to get on my Gazelle machine and do that for half an hour a day.
What's a Gazelle machine?
It's not kind of like a Nordic track. You put your feet, you're moving back and forth with your hands and feet, but they're all gliding on cables, so it's not high impact or anything.
Who bought that? Did you buy that before?
Kathy bought that a long time ago.
For her or for you?
For both of us.
Okay, so both of you were trying to get in shape and do the right thing and
you
get
hang
help.
clothes on it. So
It's a good air dryer there.
Yeah.
One thing that my wife, I was buying when I go to my grocery store at Walmart, is buying the 8-pack of Gatorades. Because, of course, it's hot. It's hot out there right now. Dan and I just went downstairs, take a little break and stuff, smoke a cigarette and all that. And it's hot. So I was buying like the 16-ounce Powerades, like the sugar-free ones. And they were like $8 for the Powerade thing. And my wife does the drip drops. The powder, the little single serve powder that she drops into her like a drink. What is the thing that you showed me that one? It was like 1 pound of something. It was like.
Yeah, I got this thing called NutriCost, and you just put it into regular water out of your fridge, and it's 1 scoop, and it's like $27, and it lasts me a couple months.
And how many
scoop?
How many servings are in that thing?
Quite a few, because I'll have one a day. But I was having to drink the Gatorade and stuff, and I just have 1 glass with that in the beginning of the day. Put that powder in and shake it all around.
You're talking about the
NutriCost. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
And I think when I was reading it, I think it said 120 servings for like $27. And Amy, my wife, is buying the single serve drip drop. There's 32 in there. 32 individual packets. Everyone's seen them before.
You're going to pay for the packaging. That's expensive to put all the packaging.
So maybe I can switch over that. But in the same process, I was trying to save money in the same sense. Instead of buying the 8-pack of Gatorade or Powerade or whatever it was for $8, she bought me a small pack of like 24 for like $19 of the single serve, rip and tear powder that goes into your water. And I've been drinking that not only after my run, but drinking it like every time I fill up my juice bottle, my sippy cup.
You're putting I think that may be too much electrolyte. Maybe twice a day. That's all I do.
But I'm starting to get like little sores and little scars underneath not scars, like I'm damaged.
Canker sores?
Almost like canker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I've had too much citrus or I had too much something, and it hurts to drink sometimes. Yeah. And I watched a documentary about the Woodstock '99. Have you seen that? The documentary about Woodstock '99, where everything just went chaos, and they tried to recreate Woodstock from the 70s, and everything was just a money grab for everyone, and people were drinking water out of like hoses and drinking water that was just around, and they found out there was like fecal matter in it, and they had what they called, what was it, like not yuck mouth. There's some kind of disease if you drink and then you get sores and stuff on your mouth. Dan, do you remember what that was when you were back in the war, back in the First World War?
I had canker sores when I was younger. Every once in a while, and you'd rinse with salt water and things. But now, is it the sores just start when you started doing the powder? You didn't do it when you had the Gatorade?
No, not when I was drinking the Gatorade straight out of the bottle. Okay. But it was just when I started doing the powder. Now, here's the thing. Back way before Dan, we even met and stuff, and I was still living down in Florida. I had a landscape company. I had a landscape design company, and we would have those big coolers. You've seen them on the back of the trucks, and you would buy the powder and dump it in the cooler and fill the 5 gallons up and throw a bag of ice in there. And I would drink that too, and the crew would drink that. And we would drink that every day. That was our water supply, our electrolyte supply. And I would get sores on my mouth, and I would go, the guys, the next day I go out to the crew and they're looking for that Gatorade coming out of the thing. And I was like, no, guys, just water today, because that Gatorade, there's something in that powder, whether it's an individual single mix or the whole entire, the little whatever poundage thing.
Well, my suggestion is only do 2 of those a day. And then after you drink it, take fresh water and swish it all around in your mouth and rinse all your mouth out so you don't have any residue of that. That's what I would try first.
Residue.
Yeah.
Or maybe
don't. I don't know.
Brush my teeth, I guess, right afterwards. And you see people that drink soda all day long. And Dan, you don't drink soda, do you?
No. Every once in a while I'll have a Coke. Go out to a restaurant or something, grab a Coke.
You got a Coke Zero or?
No, Coke. I mean, the chemicals are worse than the sugar, and
So, as you know, you've been on several different podcasts with me. You've hosted several different podcasts with me, and in some sense that a podcast can only survive based on advertisement. Yes. People don't do this stuff for free. I do this podcast. I say in the beginning, I do this podcast for free, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of people that support the program and do all this stuff. And we appreciate every single one of you out there that, download us and share us and do all the stuff that makes this podcast as successful as it is. But one of the podcasts, I get a lot of commercial advertisements, a lot of commercial traffic. And I do get a lot of artists that come on and they say, hey, can you promote my song during your podcast? And I say, sure, no problem. I send them over the media package. They look over it, and they of course, we email back and forth, and I approve this and all that. Can we fix this? Can we do this? And I will do that. I will critique curtail every podcast package for you for what you want to do, whatever your budget is, whatever your timeline is, and what your expectations are.
Yeah. Sometimes you even interview them.
Yes, I do. Exactly, I do. And Dan's seen a couple of the incidents where we've had artists on the show, and Dan's been part of them, and we've interviewed people on the show. So I came across this one guy, and as soon as he sent me over his track, I heard it, and I go, okay, it's not AI, Dan. It's he's done this music in his house, and it's very, very simple. It's we've been doing, Dan, you've been listening to music for a long time. I've been listening to music for a long time. And you can just tell that this guy's just starting to learn transitions and learning. And it's that EDM music, that.
Yeah, the samples and things.
You're right, exactly. And he's just learning. And he's like going, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I can do this all day long. I'm going to be a millionaire. But what the kids now that are doing this stuff, and that's kind of where, you're in the same sense. Hey, I'm creating this music. Why am I not a millionaire by now? This kid, young kid on the other spectrum, he is saying, I've created this song. This is the first time any of this music has ever hit the airways, and I'm a genius. I figured this stuff out. And I sent him the package and the amount that it costs for the package. He agrees to it. His first thing out of his mouth, once he signs the contract and everything's dried on the contract, is first thing he says goes, how many views and how many listens, how many downloads am I going to get? And I go, I don't know. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like when you buy a commercial ad on TV, like your Dan's dishwasher and Emporium. What?
How is he supposed to know if he's never done this before?
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's going to get immediate attention. I'm on a podcast. I'm on a world-renowned podcast. It's over 75 countries and on 25 different platforms. Because we do brag about that because it's true. Not this show. I'm talking about the other show that we were doing, and this is just something that I was just getting, like, the youth of today just doesn't understand it. So we do the show. I promote his song. I give all the, hey, this is such and such by such and such. Check him out at this and this and the total radio gig and that stuff. And I go, and here's his song, and he plays the song. We play about a minute and a half, depending on how much time we have during the break. And then we go on about the show. The show goes live. It goes all over, it spreads all over the uniwebs and all that. And then the next day he goes, well, nothing's happened on my channel. Because he wants to promote his YouTube, or not his YouTube, sorry, his Spotify channel. Yeah. Because Spotify pays the most, for these kids. These kids see, field dreams and stars and dollar signs because Spotify pays, I don't know what the actual cost is or how much they pay out. For every 1,000 downloads, they get like 3 cents or something like that. I'm not sure what the actual thing is. Dan, have you made any money on your songs? Are you just happy to do the songs? I guess.
Well, I would like to make some money. I made $100. Someone asked me to write a song for their daughter who has a drug addiction problem, and I wrote a nice song for them.
A positive, or just like she's gonna die?
No, actually, I was very sensitive, and I danced around it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be dark on that. Sorry.
No, and he did. And I wrote it for him, and he really liked it about his daughter. And he says, "I'm not judging you. I'm your dad. I'm here for you. And I know it's not easy. I'm not blaming you. I'm not, I'm not criticizing you. I'm not judging you."
What's the name of that song? You don't know. Well, we'll play it during the next break.
It's Daughter's Prayer, I think.
Okay, we'll play it during the next break. But anyways, back to this guy, this kid. I know he's a kid because he's like, I've got 79 listeners on my Spotify channel. I don't see the numbers increase. And I go, okay, it doesn't happen overnight. The podcast is a podcast. It just doesn't, it's like Netflix, you want to.
Not everybody watches it all at 8:00 on Thursday.
Correct.
You get different. Someone may watch it Saturday or when they have time.
And I even said to him, I said, hey, look, it's a holiday weekend. I said, just relax. I said, there's a lot of people that are going to be off. They're going to be catching up on stuff. Podcasts are a lot of times, when people have downtime, they want to catch up on their podcasts. I said, it's a holiday weekend. I said, just relax and do your thing. So the weekend goes by, and I get another email from him, and he's basically going, you're garbage. You're horrible. I'm going to report you to because I use a third-party venue to do some of this podcast, to kind of mediate, so they can't physically come after me like LLC style. And I go, I said, man, come on. I'm trying. And he goes, no, you're garbage. I didn't get my $1 million off my whatever I spent on your package. And I think it was a couple $100 on the package that he spent on. And I said, you know what? If you're not happy with it, I gave him an ultimatum. This is the best part. I said, I'll remove your song from our Spotify playlist because our Spotify playlist gets hundreds and hundreds of thousands of downloads. And I showed you the Spotify playlist that the music heard on the show. And I said, I will remove your song from that podcast, that week's podcast, because he only bought one show. One show! I said, there's a reason why Coca-Cola and Pepsi are in the front of everyone's mind, because they're in front of everyone's face at any given time. Now, I'm not telling you that he has to be Pepsi-Cola and Coca-Cola money, but there's a reason why you need to have your song played more than once.
You know, if you let me get a hold of him, I'll talk to him and I'll let him know where you live.
Okay, yeah, if he wants to drive all this way. Yeah. So I said, I will remove your song from our playlist and I will remove your song from that episode. I know you paid for it and all that stuff, but if you're not happy with it, now I'm not going to grant you the money back because I've already done the work. If you're not happy with it, I said, I will more than gladly pull all this stuff down and replace it with something else. Fart noises. I don't care. The time slot's been paid for. The show's been produced. I'm going to put fart noises on there. So if you're listening to one of the older podcast or one of the podcasts that I did last week and you come across a music break and it's nothing but fart noises, that's where his song was. Do you think I'm doing the right thing or wrong? Am I being petty about it?
Probably.
What do you mean?
Well, you could have just said, be patient, wait a while.
Dan, did you not hear the point? I said it's a vacation or a holiday weekend. He's going to, there's a lot of time out there. He wanted it immediately. So I gave him, hey, be patient, relax. It doesn't happen overnight. And he wants it right then and there. And
what if the guy knows voodoo and has something like put on your arm or something you can't get rid of?
No, this happened with this scar on my arm happened way before the whole entire transaction came down. So I was just pissed, and it just makes you mad because you do, believe it or not, there's a lot of work and a lot of effort that it takes for me to, get everything ready, and there's a lot of behind the scene and a lot of coding and make sure that it goes to the right places and stuff. Dan, this too as well.
Yeah, it's not like you're out digging a trench, but it's a lot of work and a lot of time doing it.
So I was just kind of pissed off about that because it's like a slap in the face, and I just wanted to, if you could reach through the email and grab this kid and go, you're 10, or you're 16, you're 17, not grab the kid, in that way.
Yeah, get a hold of his mom. Just say, go down in the basement, tell your kid to smarten up.
Speaking of grabbing a hold of kids in that way, I want to talk about the preacher / bishop that I don't want to say I had a friendship relationship with. A communication relationship with, and it got really, really weird and really, really dark and really, really scary at one time. And we'll dive into that whole story when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back.
It's not always rain. I already tell you that one.
Is that the song that you want to have for the girl? The girl, because I said that's.
Yeah,
I said this.
Yeah, we can do that one.
I said the break is going to be the girl or the song that you wrote.
It started innocently, smoking a little weed. Such a thin line that enjoyment turns to
right
need.
at an hour too. This will be the last segment. We can wrap it up. You can go get your
When you thought that it wasn't enough, you sought something stronger to get there.
Plus, I have to edit all this stuff and get it up.
My daughter, you grew to be a beautiful girl. I tried to protect you from the world, but sadly the world is no longer pure, and drugs became so easy to procure. You started hanging with troubled friends. That damn cycle never seems to end. My heart is breaking in two. What I'm telling you is true. I'm your dad and I love you no matter what you do.
We'll play that going into this segment.
And all my love, my affection
I'm just letting you know. This will be
can't compete with your addiction and worrying keeps me up all night. On my knees praying you are alright. I'd do anything to get you on the right track. You know that I will always have your back. It's a dark road you're walking along. I am not judging you right or wrong.
Do you have copyrights on it?
My heart is breaking in two. What I'm telling you is true. I'm your dad and I love you. No matter what you do, it's so painful thinking I have failed you. Knowing the troubles you're going through.
If I get flagged,
I'm praying that's all I can do. That the light of God finds you.
just the YouTube page.
It's so painful thinking I failed you. Knowing the troubles you're going through. I'm praying that's all I can do. That the light of God
Yeah, but
finds you.
is it Peterson Dale?
And that's something I got to check out on too.
Dan, you gonna be okay going home?
Yeah, I got to pick up some Chinese food at Nikki's Bistro. Got to put a plug in for her.
Yeah. I'll send them over the contract. Maybe they'll be a little bit more friendlier as far as advertising here on
Really good Chinese food in Locust, North Carolina.
Locust, North Carolina. I don't know if I'd eat anything from a town named Locust.
Yes, town named after a plague. I know what you're saying.
I'm going to eat some hamburgers over at Dick Farmer's, Connecticut or whatever. So it's getting ready to take a big dump out there. Again, you know, I've been doing my walk and stuff. Something I've noticed with this heat wave that we've been going through, and a lot of people are going through like this heat wave. You know, France is freaking out. People are dying left and right. Here in the United States now, we broadcast this show every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town called Marshville. And it's been hot. I mean, you know, it's 74 in the morning when I do my run, but an hour into my run, it's like 8:30. And that time doesn't match, but the temperature has gone up to like 89 or whatever like that. And for whatever reason, it's my head, Dan.
It seems hotter. It was 102 the other day in my car, but
what I'm literally running into is it's my head. I don't know if it's the way I sweat, my chemical makeup, my breath is, I've got bugs that just fly, like they just bomb dive my head all the time, whether it's a wasp or a whatever, and I'm running every time right by your ear, and you always freak out.
You wearing cologne or any special strong deodorant?
No, I don't, and I don't even put deodorant on when I'm running because I know that kind of inhibits your sweating and everything. And for whatever reason, I'm running my 4 miles, up and down the cul-de-sac and stuff. And even when I come out of the house, when you come out of the back door of the house, you've been here before, Dan. You're here now, and I appreciate you showing up for the show today. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Yeah. You come out of the back of the house, and we've got that netting. You've seen all the netting. The whole back and porch is all netted off. And as soon as I come out that door or the little flaps and come down, something's always attacking me. Why is it always attacking my head and by my ears?
You want my advice?
Sure.
Run faster. Okay. If you can outrun the bugs, they won't bother you.
But they're all, and when I go downstairs to grab a beer out of the fridge and I get close to that refrigerator, there's always like flying by my head. What is wrong with my head? Is there a beacon or something on there? Now I don't
beacon. Yes.
That's another show in itself.
Okay.
So I it's just freaking out. I do my run and everything, and I get bugs that just like dive bomb my head. They're like, "Oh, here he comes."
Yeah. I never have that. Never have that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm getting dive bombed left and right. And speaking of running, I'm gonna tell you a little story. It all started with a man or a person, and I already ruined the inside there. Started with a man running. Now, many years ago, a young lad at the age of 20-something years old, started his career at Home Depot in Orlando, Florida in 1994.
Is this going somewhere?
This is going somewhere.
Okay.
And at the time, I was driving a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle that had, Dan, do you know what a California lean on a Volkswagen Beetle means? California lean.
I'm not familiar with that.
There's a lot of Volkswagen experts out there. It's basically where you've taken the Volkswagen Beetle and you've dropped that front end and put big tires on the back and small tires on the front. And you give it like a California style.
I've seen it. I just haven't heard that term. So.
And my Volkswagen had a small block Porsche engine put into it. I built it myself and put it in there. So it was loud. It was a pride and joy of my, when I was my early 20s. You following me?
Yeah.
So working at Home Depot, they close at 10 o'clock and, everyone leaves and everyone gets in their cars and they drive out. The Home Depot that I worked at was in the same parking lot as like a Bennigan's, and then there was like a neighborhood back off to the side. So I would always scoot out through the Bennigan's parking lot, down the street where a neighborhood lived, and then go out to the light to make a right. It was easier to do that. One night, I had no idea that this actually happened. One night, I guess I came across or something happened. I met someone and didn't realize that I met someone, or I made eye contact with someone and I had no idea that I made eye contact with someone, okay? You can hear the thunderstorm now. The next day, I get a note on my car that says, hey, saw you checking me out. I'd love to talk to you. You look cute. Give me a call. Hashtag, they didn't have hashtags back then. Yeah. The runner or the jogger. I think it was the jogger. And I'm in my early 20s and I'm like going, it's Orlando, Florida. It's downtown Orlando or close to downtown Orlando. There's girls and hot chicks running everywhere in, bikinis and stuff and all that stuff. And you sit there and slow down. And my car, like I said, the reason why I give you the details of my car stuck out. It was a burgundy Volkswagen 1970 with a California lean to it with a big old loud engine. You didn't see those on every corner.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. This could have happened to me.
What do you mean happened to you?
I'm glad it didn't happen to me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get home, and now I bought my first house when I was 20 years old. So I must have been 20 years old when this all happened. Oh, I was 20 years old when it all happened. So I get home, and I'm in my house by myself. It's my house, my property, all this stuff. And I call the number, thinking I'm going to get some hot chick. And I go, brrr, brrr, and I get, hello. And it's a guy. And I immediately hung up. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this a joke? Come on, is this a joke? And I said, well, maybe it's a friend of mine. So I called it back. I'm like, brrr, hello. I'm like, hey, it's Travis. Hey. And I'm like, hey. Thinking, who the hell? I'm doing the phone thing. If you're watching this here on the YouTube channel, I guess I don't need to do the phone thing here. It's a pantomime. And I go, yeah, what's up? Hey, this is weird for me. Now, he had an accent. He had a British accent that I couldn't place. It wasn't British, but it was not United States. And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, I'm the jogger that you were looking at the other day. And I'm like going, in my mind, I'm like going, a jogger? I don't look at guy joggers, Dan. Dan, no, honestly.
I hope not.
Honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
And as the conversation unfolded, it was probably because I was ducking and turning through the Bennigan's parking lot and going around cars and making sure that looking left and looking right and trying to get out in this neighborhood. He probably this guy was jogging in the neighborhood at 10 o'clock at night, couldn't see him, and probably thought I was checking him out. I was just looking for clear traffic that I could pull out. So as a conversation, we started talking, and he's like going, well, I'm a gay. And I said, look, man, I'm not gay or anything like that. I said, you sound like a pretty cool dude. I said, what's up? You want to do anything or not do anything? Sorry, that came out really wrong.
Yeah, this whole story is wrong so far.
So I thought he was going to be like a guy friend. I don't know why I thought that, but still. And I said, well, I gotta go, and I gotta wake up early in the morning. So then I called him back. I don't know why, but I called him back because he said he had his voice, kind of like you, Dan. He had a voice that you wanted to talk to. You knew that he wasn't going to pass judgment on you, and we must have had a conversation over a 6-month period of time. Come to find out, as we're talking, and nothing sexual, Dan. It was all talking about movies. It was talking about music. We had the same, this, and
you can tell me.
I will tell you. I'll tell everyone too on this station, on this broadcast here. Yeah. And I've never heard of that. And I told him I like this type of music. I like this type of stuff. But we never physically met in person at all. Then somewhere in the conversation, he said, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a student at whatever community college. And then, I work for Home Depot and I'm getting ready to do this and do that. And, I'm getting ready to start the radio career and all that. And I said, well, what do you do? He goes, you're never going to believe what I do. I said, oh, really? He goes, in our conversation, found out that he was a gay man. He was a gay black man. And he thought I was cute, which is, I get that a lot, believe it or not. I get that a lot from a lot of gay men, a lot of gay people. I don't know as much as now, but back in my early days, I would get a lot of, hey, you are hot. And I'm like going, well, all right, easy fellas, I'm not that way. But I don't mind being nice to him, Dan. Yeah. And he told me what he did. He goes, well, I'm a pastor at a Roman Catholic church. There's a difference between the two. And I'm up for bishopness. And I said, oh, really?
Would that be bishophood, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, probably. Thank you, Dan, for correcting me on that. And I said, okay, well, I don't know what that means and all that stuff. And so our conversation just, hey, how was your day? How things going? You doing all right? I'm doing all right. All right, cool. My friends are coming over. Hey, they just showed up. I got to go. I got to get the keg ready and stuff. He goes, all right, I'll talk to you later, Travis. We'll talk tomorrow or whatever. And he would tell me about trips. He would go to these extravagant parties all over, like in Europe and stuff, because of his, I don't want to say apprenticeship, his bishophood. He would go to all these different parties and he's like, I met all these different people. And he would tell me like the behind the scenes of all these Roman Catholic, of the things, the deities that he was going to, these big parties and stuff because of his placement in the church. And I said, one of the things I said to him, I said, do they know that you're gay? And he goes, no. He goes, I don't tell anyone that. And I go, but, as we're talking, you sound a little gay. You know what I mean? So one of the stories that he told me, Dan, get ready for this because this probably happened to you sometime in your life.
Does this involve KY jelly?
It does involve KY jelly. Were you ever in Cocoa Beach, Florida on the summer of 1999?
No.
Okay.
Never been to Florida.
So our relationship, our phone relationship lasted for over, 5 years or something like that. He said that he was at the beach in Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach is kind of like the local beach for everyone that lives in Florida. And there's a lot of hotels on the beach. He said he came across this guy, a Spanish guy, barely spoke English, with this, he said, the Spanish guy's nephew. And they, quote unquote, were on the beach. Rudy, his name was Rudolph Cleare, by the way, just throwing it out there. This is a true story. I'll stand in front of a court office and stuff. This is a true story. Reverend Rudolph Cleare said, I was on the beach and I came across this uncle and nephew, quote unquote, uncle and nephew, is what he said. And we built up a rapport and they invited me back to their hotel room that was on Cocoa Beach. And he's telling me all this stuff because this is the first time that he told me he's never had gay sex with anyone ever in his whole entire life because that's looked down upon. One, being Bahamian because he's from the Bahamas, and two, being a bishop. And I'm like going, oh, really? And I'm interested because I like the story, the humanity of stories. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so what happened next? He goes, yeah, we were up there and basically he said, we sucked, we fucked, we did everything. you could possibly think of in a dream. And I said, don't you worry about AIDS. Don't you worry about all that stuff. He goes, well, we were protected. I protected myself. They did not protect with each other, but they protected with me. So I'm like going, God, this fucking story is getting weirder and weirder. I told you.
Yes.
But he was a bishop at a local preacher, or not a preacher, but a bishop in the community.
And you see,
That's where you tell your story about your sister. Or whatever.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you a story about my sister.
I'm not done with my story, but yeah, go ahead, Dan. You had something to say?
My sister, when she was in her 20s, was going through some issues in her life, and she went to the Catholic church in Boston, and the preacher there, one of the ministers, consoled her and made her feel comfortable and helped her out and proceeded to get her pregnant. And, they had an affair going on, and she had twins. Those are to my nieces right now. I have two nieces.
And they're still around?
Yeah. And my sister tried to sue the church, which is kind of stupid because she's the one who decided he didn't rape her. He just talked her into it. And, she didn't go anywhere, the lawsuit or anything.
What year was this?
Oh, I'd probably say it's in the 80s, somewhere around there.
So how old are the nieces now?
Yeah, they're in their 40s. Yeah. Messed up, so. And my sister's messed up. She's an idiot, too.
Well, we'll get into that on maybe another topic another day.
Yeah.
But here's this guy, this preacher, and the conversations that we used to have, he was so excited that he had someone to tell. He held all this stuff in his system, in his body, in his mind, and all this stuff. He had to keep all these stories a secret because of his religion and what his background and what he represented.
So you were his therapist.
I think for the most part, yes. Now a lot of times, when we were talking and stuff, a lot of heavy drinking between, myself and him as well. And we would sit there and just BS and just almost like, college roommates, high school buddy type stuff. Nothing sexual. He never said, hey, Travis, I want to F you in the A, that type of stuff. Yeah. But then I would tell him that there was a concert. Oh man, there's a concert I want to go to. And in the mail, I would get tickets to these concerts. He would buy me stuff and he knew my address, because get to a relationship at some point. I didn't have an email address at the time. Computers weren't readily available at home. And he would send me stuff in the mail all the time. The one thing that scared me the most, one of my first Halloween parties that I had. Now, at this time, I was on the radio. He followed my career through the radio and stuff. He helped me get on some of the channels that I was on. He had some pull inside, And I would have a Halloween party, and the Halloween party would have, 100 to 150 people at my place, my little, 1,000 square foot home in downtown Orlando, Florida. And I said, in a drunken stupor, I said, hey, would you like to come? Now, at this time, we have never, ever, 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 ever met at all. No pictures, no nothing was exchanged. He wasn't sending me, Polaroid cock pictures or anything like that. It was all strictly on the phone talking to each other.
Phone sex.
Never phone sex, Dan. Never phone sex. But we just never physically I never saw a picture of him. Yeah. I never saw a picture of him. And until this time. And the reason why I say that is because I said, hey, I'm having a big Halloween party and, doing all this stuff. And he goes, well, I can bring food, if you want, or you want me to help cater and everything. I said, well, why don't you just come over to the Halloween party? And the whole entire time, I've told this story to all my friends, my close-knit friends. At the time when you're 20-something years old, you've got a close-knit friend of like 20 people.
I wouldn't tell that to anyone. I wouldn't even say it on the air today.
Well, but the friends that I have at the time, 30% of them were gay or, in transition of being gay and not knowing, when you're 20s or whatever. And so I would tell them, I'm like, hey, there's this gay bishop that's coming over to my house and he's going to dress up. Well, what's he look like? Well, he's going to be the only black guy here. I hate to say that, but he's going to be the only 6'3" black guy in a costume, unless he's dressed up like the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. You're not going to recognize him. So we all panicked. And at the last minute, I called him. I said, hey, man, I don't think it'd be a good idea for you to show up. Sorry. And that was our last conversation. And he wrote me this big, long letter, handwritten letter, saying, you know, I was so excited to meet you because of all the conversations we've had over the last 5 years. He goes, you've helped me get through and realize my sexuality. You've helped me realize, you know, it's okay to be who I am based on my career, my decisions, and the options that I have chosen in life. You have made me feel comfortable in my skin. I've never had anyone in my whole entire life that, you know, and he was older than I was. I think he was in his 40s or maybe mid 50s and stuff. And I was in my 20s. That made me feel the way you did. You made me feel confident in myself. Made me feel confident in my skin. And I know I had the letter somewhere in my memory drawer somewhere that I've kept over the years. And he goes, I feel bad that we never got a chance to meet. He goes, I'm being shipped out to, they had to move his bishophood to somewhere else. And, for whatever reason, something clicked on my mind, and I saw an article about a gay bishop that passed away, and I looked it up, and sure enough, he passed away in 2015. Yeah. And I was like going, holy shit, I haven't heard that name or thought about that name in a long time. And I don't want to say his name one more time because it might be.
Why were you looking up articles on gay bishops? Just asking.
No, there was a TikTok feed or some kind of Facebook feed, and it said something about a gay whatever bishop was kicked out of the commune or whatever they call it. And I was like going, I wonder what happened to Rudy Cleare. You know, and all of a sudden, all these memories and stuff and all the conversations started overflowing and coming back to me. And I was like going, holy shit, God, I wonder where he is. And I kind of looked it up and all that stuff. And yeah, he used to like send me like concert tickets. He would get me into like the finest events that he wasn't involved with, but he had like inside pull and stuff. So it was just a weird situation. It was a weird relationship verbally, like on the phone. You know, before the internet and stuff. So,
yeah. And I've had people that I said, gee, I really should get a hold of that person. I like to see how they're doing. And then you call up and the phone does, you know, and then you look it up and they passed away 2 years earlier from a heart attack or something. And yeah, you don't know.
Well, Dan, I'm glad you reached out to me and we rekindled this relationship because we haven't talked to each other since your wife passed away. And there, as you guys know, as you heard through the podcast, there was a background relationship there that we had that kind of got, you know, diminished. But at least now you're back in my life, and I hope you're doing well, and we'll continue this relationship. I don't know if we're going to, you know, be on the show or anything like that, but at least, you know, outside the show, outside it, and every day, what they call it, in real life, IRL, in real life now that the kids say it. So I appreciate you, Dan, and I'm sorry for your loss. You're doing well with your music and everything, and I hope you continue to be an inspiration to your community altogether. Is there anything else you want to add, Dan, before
nice seeing you again and glad to be on the show.
All right, guys, I appreciate you guys listening as we work all this stuff out. I'll talk to you later. Okay, see you, bye.